some thoughts on the game tonight?
Well, I said to Coach Lehman after the game, it's a little early for playoff hockey, but that's what I thought this weekend was. It's 2 playoff games. He's got a real good team there. There's not many weaknesses. You can't make many mistakes, and you got to play a really good game to get a point. And I think it's probably apropos coming out of this weekend that both teams took one, because both teams played pretty hard.
And just what you saw in Boz play at the end of the game to draw that penalty, wipe out 5-minute major penalty that you guys had, and just how huge that was for your team.
Benny Boz has been playing some really good hockey for, games we played now, 9, probably 8 or 9 games, like exemplary, like one of our best players. He's not one of those guys that shows up on the stat sheet, the traditional stat sheet. You know what I mean? But I don't care about traditional stats except wins. And he's a winner. He's a guy that will give it up to block a shot, which you saw him do in the second period. He wins puck races and puck battles all the time. Takes care of the puck. He's a really heady player, and that's why he's playing with 2 of our better players.
What has seen you brought to the team so far? What have you seen from him as he's after get started?
He's a real player. I shouldn't say it. He's a good player. Size obviously doesn't matter. He's strong on the puck. He's tenacious. He's very deceptive. I think he and Jace right off the bat really made a connection. And don't look like Jace because I think they work pretty well together. But he can break somebody down. There aren't too many guys that can beat somebody one-on-one and create a scenario for himself. And he's got that ability.
You talked last night about you thought it took too long to establish your game, especially with the forecheck. It didn't seem that way tonight, but I'd imagine you'd agree that you think you established your game early on.
Oh, that was like a heavyweight fight. There were ebbs and flows. So I think at times we did, and then at times we were on our heels a little bit. When you play Providence, you got to give a punch and take a punch because that was playoff hockey tonight. So yeah, I thought it didn't take us as long. We were in that game from the first period. My brother was at the game. It's the first time he's seen us play this year. And my other brother called him and said, "How was the first period?" And my brother said, "Hard, like really hard, but also a lot of fun." I think that guy said a fun weekend of hockey.
LeBlanc's first game, how do you think he looked?
Good at times, a little leggy at times as well. That's to be expected. Healthy, which is nice. But he definitely brings it on. He's got a lot of puck poise. It's nice to get him back in there.
How important is Gould to your lineup? He really seems to bring that extra dimension, not the traditional stat, like you're talking about. Can you talk about
another big, strong forward who when he is going in the corner, 9 times out of 10 he's coming out with the puck. Also another really heady player. Both he and Kyle Singleton played together since juniors, and they played very well together. There was a play in the second period where we had them hemmed in a little bit, and they were kind of alternating who was going to go on the forecheck. And at the end, I think Gould is the guy that stripped him of the puck, but it was just a tag to interfere. And it's good to get Quinn Gould back in line. We are where we are right now, and that's Blank's first game. That's Gould's first weekend in a while. We're as deep as we've been in a while, and it's exciting.
And just like a little bit about what you saw from Raz, obviously he made a lot of huge stops on the PK, and even just throughout the entire game, and just a little bit about his game tonight.
He's been flat out solid all year long. He has been, and again, you can go back to the final 8 games he played in the season. He gives us a chance every night. He's one of those guys that, I think people overlook, but I'd put him up there with any goalie in our league.
How good's his positioning been this year? It seemed like in the past he might have flopped around a little bit more. This year he really hasn't made any crazy saves because he seems to always be square.
Well, he's Finnish, so you've seen Tuukka make a crazy 1 or 2. It'll show up, but as long as he's making them, I don't care how. He does seem to be a little more tight. I think his game's a little tighter. I think he had a lot of confidence going into the summer and really worked his tail off, and came back with a fire. So it's good to see him rewarded.
If you could just talk a little bit about the power play too. You had the 2 goals last night. You don't track it with a traditional percentage stat. I know that, but even tonight, I don't think you guys, the goal wasn't a power play goal, but it seemed like on the chances you did have, you continue to put a lot of pucks in the net. And certainly sustained possession, but also it's been a momentum.
Yeah.
That's
Well, we had 2 breakaways too. We had 2 breakaways with a lot of time in the zone, and we've got 2 different units that are both, pretty productive. I thought that we would puck much better tonight than we did last night, and that's why the power play it's an interesting thing. It gave us a lot of momentum. It also tires the other team immensely if they're spending a lot of time in their zone, and so I think that's another positive. So I thought we took a positive, and we made some changes during the game that our guys were in lockstep with, which is a sign that these guys are locked in this weekend. It's still early. It's just the start. We've got a long way to go.
Anything else?